Hello Footprinters. It is Tuesday the 31st of December here in Australia. New Year's Eve. Oh Bubba, don't do that, sweetie, you'll make yourself sick. It's an old cup of coffee, milky thingy, and Cameo's dipping a paw in and having a taste and going, ugh, don't think so. Anyway, yeah, I've just got to swap glasses. These aren't the best glasses. Yes, so, yes, December 31st, 2019, on the eve of a new decade, and we're going up into a B&B up into the hills to get away from all the stuff. You know, we're in a pretty quiet area, Perth, but there's always a couple of people in every area that just, you know, parties and stuff, and sometimes emotions get a little bit out of control. So it's always good to try and just curb those times. And but yeah, we just decided it'd be nice to have a you know, get away up into the hills. So I will be doing another reading tomorrow after we get back. I'm just going through the cards I'm using today, making sure there aren't any, you know, there's always a couple of cards that have who the publisher is and all that sort of stuff. So just want to make sure that I've taken those out of all the decks. But yeah, so what am I going to read on today? Thought I'd have a look at the current Democratic candidates at the moment as a whole, and just I've got the feeling somebody else is going to step into the race, but I mean, I guess you can step in at any time up to a certain point. But you wouldn't want to miss the Iowa caucuses, as from what I understand, they're pretty major. But, you know, some of the Warren, Booker and Sanders might have to with this impeachment thing, if this impeachment goes to trial. So I thought I'd look at them as a group and ask, is one of the people currently in the running, currently in the race, the candidates, will they be the final role? Will they end up as the Democratic nominee for the presidency? I do feel one of them's going to be vice president, but I don't know if one of them's actually going to be the nominee for president at the moment. So I'm going to ask that question first, and then I'm going to look at, is somebody else going to step up, possibly even in the near future, before Iowa or just after Iowa, who is going to step in there and be the candidate. I'm just going to pause this for a moment because I have not done my prayers of protection, so I'm going to do that, pause that, and come back in just a moment and do that. Okay, I've done that. I just do a prayer to Universal Spirit, to spheres of protection over myself, my husband, our little fur babies, all of our family and friends, including fur babies, wherever they may be in the world. I also ask for a sphere of positive and healing energy to encircle the globe and to help those, to encourage goodwill and harmony, but also to help those who are suffering from illnesses, both physical and mental. And then I ask for access to Universal Spirit's wisdom and knowledge, Akashic records, or higher forms of knowledge. And I also I do it without agenda or rancor or ill will or ill intent. And I ask for clarity, insight and objectivity. So that's basically what my prayers take. It only takes a few minutes, but I always feel I do a better reading if I do that. And some cases, there have been a couple of cases where I haven't done it, and what I've been reading on has been quite distressing, and I do feel it. So if I don't have that, it's sort of like lets that negative energy and ill intent of others sort of sneak in, and nobody wants that. That just fell out. New ideas, new decade, new opportunities, new ideas, new creativities. Okay, so happy birthday to all the New Year's Eve babies, by the way. I am one. So I was born on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I've had some pretty epic parties in my time, but nowadays it's like I'm usually in bed by midnight. If I am up to see the new year, and it's not intentional, it's because I've got caught up in watching a show or I've been doing something else, and yeah, I just happen to be awake. But yeah, I don't have specific parties for me anymore. The trip to the B&B tonight is my birthday present, so but any other New Year's Eve babies, happy birthday. Love you all. Okay, so and that's in Australia today, and and later today, this evening, when it becomes New Year's midday later on today, when the clock switches from the 30th to the 31st in the US. So happy birthday all the New Year's Eve babies. So Democrat, the current Democratic candidates, will one of them become the nominee? Let's see if we can get a clear picture on that. We'll do a modified cross, I think, and I'm using my other steampunked tarot deck. It's a larger deck. It's by Soraya Rose, who's an Australian tarot legend, really. And yeah, so one more. Okay, let's see what's on the bottom. Ten of Pentacles, legacy. Somebody's going to leave their legacy. So this is a good indication that it's probably going to be one of the crop that's currently in there now. Somebody is, it's part of their legacy, their life's legacy for themselves and for their family, and their legacy to the country. So that's an indication, but you can't make up your mind off one card. Sorry about that. We'll see what. Had a wee little bit of an accident there. So, yeah. So, recording away, and I went to put the thing down and it just all fell forward and I accidentally hit the stop button. So, legacy on the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to do a six card cross, maybe with a couple more, we'll see how we go. So the situation, the current crop of Democrats, the Lovers, they're starting to form alliances within the group. starting to think about, if they get the nomination, who they want their running mate to be, from within the group or even from without the group. But I think there are two that are going to come out clearly in front, and they're going to be running mates, I think, in the end. But that's just from this indication of the situation at the moment. But that's what they're starting to do. They're really starting to now, as time goes on, because time passes very quickly, think about what alliances they're going to make with whom. What alliance are they going to make with? Who are they going to make the alliance with? If I win, I want you to be my running mate. If you win, I want to be your running mate, you know? So, what's the challenge for them? Burden. The 10 of Wands, a burden. It's interesting, these wands that this woman is carrying in this card, they actually look like, you know, those wands that you carry and they've got lamps on them that you light up? They're feeling a bit of a burden, the burden of enlightening the populace as to what they can do. So they are all finding it hard to bring light to the situations they want to bring light to. But it is coming. This is a 10, so this cycle is coming to an end. They're finding it hard to shine light, to really get the light focused on their agendas and their ideas and how they will do things. Because there is still, even with some people dropping out, there's still such a large crowd. And it's a bit of a burden to try. It's only about 4 of them are really standing out ahead of the others. The others are feeling that burden of finding somewhere to put their light and have their light shine. So it is coming to, I think, an end of the cycle where there are so many candidates. It wouldn't surprise me if in the next month quite a few dropped out and we were left with like less than 10 or something. At the base of the situation. 2 of Wands. Plans. Plans. Bringing, you know, it's all about their plans for the future. This is what's at the base of this. Their plans for the future if they become the presidential nominee. They're all concentrating on their plans on how to get there. And I think some of them have lost sight of part of that plan is to really get your message across. And I think that's what some of the burden is coming from. Like I said, they're struggling with how to really get their message across, you know, because if some of them had been better with getting the message across, they might be higher than 1 or 2 or 3%. So at the basis of this is their planning, each of the candidates' individual planning on how to go about things. It's not as good as it should have been. I'm going to do another reading after this on another group, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But this is still the current crop of candidates as a whole. Past actions with the candidates and how it's affecting them. The 2 of Swords, yeah. Some of them have been a bit wishy-washy. Should I do this or should I go that? Quite a few of them have not. They've been a bit too wishy-washy. Even the ones who seem to have a clear agenda and a clear pathway to how they want to do things, they're still being called up to think, oh, have I made this right decision here? Or some of their decisions have been called into question. Why do you want to do it this way? Why this way? You know, Elizabeth Warren has been so clear and loud and about how she's going to do things, but she's still getting people who are, they like her and they want to go forward, but they're not happy with the plan. So they're putting people who might have been very clear about backing one person or the other. All this confusion with so many candidates, and it's causing a lot of people who might have been clearer in their decision-making process as to who they want as their candidate, as their nominee, to feel that they're like at a bit of a crossroads and they've got to be careful about what decision they make. So this hodgepodge of people travelling around and all yelling over each other and stuff and attacking each other, it's caused some people to stop and rethink what they really want and be at a crossroads they might not have otherwise been. If they were more united, they all had a clear message that different but with a core of similarity through the whole lot, and if they weren't attacking each other and each other's policies, then maybe there's a lot of voters, Democratic voters and stuff, who might not be at this crossroads. So they put a lot of Democratic voters at a crossroads in the past with their internal bickering and their failure to have a common arc of what wants to get done throughout all of the candidates. They all have their different ideas about what they want to do and how they want to achieve it, but there's no real common healthcare, education, this. All of the candidates should be on the same, have the same focuses. How they want to do it can be different, but their focus, the main focus, they should all have the same, say, 4 areas of focus that matter to people. And yeah, what's in the present for them at the moment? The Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is a person who charges in and takes action and defends. So at present, I think there's somebody going to come out in the very, very near future. It's probably one of them who is going to charge in to take action on something, some issue, and it's an issue they feel that needs to happen to defend the people of the United States. That leads me to believe it could be one of the senators who are going to have to go and sit through this trial, or it could be one of the others on a different area. Again, I'm looking at this whole group as a whole. They all want to charge in and take action to fix things up. Actually, they all want to do that. But the Knight of Swords can also be the Knight of Chaos. And I think that's what they're still in, a bit of a chaotic thing about their message and how they're going to fix things up. So they're still at that place which has caused Democratic voters in the past to be indecisive, I think. So I think that's what it's more about than rather one of them going in and charging in and defending something. They all want to charge in and they all want to defend and stand up and act for the American populace, but they've all got so many different disparaging ideas and what needs to be the main focus of things, that they're still doing it. They're still making those same mistakes as a whole, which is not, while there are some front runners, it's still even up in the air with those front runners. So they're still making some of those mistakes and they've got to address them. in the near future. 9 of Wands. Building their defences. This card is very interesting because the wands are going up a staircase and they're providing extra support and stability. So in the near future, they're going to build up their support system and find some stability within themselves, within the group. There's going to be more support for each other within the group, I think, and less attacking, and they're going to build up a picture of stability in the near future. They're going to start taking steps to do that, and that will build up the defences for the Democrats at the moment. You know, build their defences so that they can, I think they might even start talking to each other more. So that if one is attacked by someone outside, they can get support from the others, especially the ones who really have no chance at becoming the nominee, but they might have a chance of being VP, a running mate. So I think that might start happening too within the group. So I'm going to ask a yes/no question. Is one of the current group of candidates going to be the Democratic nominee? So I'll just pull that up. That's Judgment. That's a yes. So it's someone who is in the current group. They're going to be one of those people in the current group is going to be the Democratic presidential nominee. Is one of the current group, and they're going to be named that because people eventually are going to think that they show good judgment. This is a Judgment card. It's a yes card, but the reason it's a yes is because they feel that they can trust the judgment of this person. Now, the other question I'm going to ask is one of the group of these nominees going to be the successful candidate's running mate? Ten of Swords. That's a no. No, the running mates could be coming from outside of the group, the vice presidential running mate. I think maybe with all the internal bickering and all that, and the going at each other, and what they might feel is the backstabbing, that they might not feel comfortable enough proposing one of this group as a running mate, which means that even though they've come out ahead, there's still a lack of cohesion in the group. So that's a no. So that's really interesting. Yes, one of the current crop is going to be the presidential nominee. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the person they choose as their running mate is going to be one of that group. Possibly not. Possibly too much early backstabbing, and again it's a 10, and it might be that the feeling is that these people have had their run this time. It's time for them to step away, the ones who are left. I think whoever it is in talks or is starting to build an alliance with the person they want as their running mate, and it's not necessarily one of the group. So that is that, what's happening with the current group of Democrats at the moment. I'll ask one more person, I'm going to ask one more question. Has the nominee for vice president even appeared on the scene yet? The Hermit. Maybe, maybe not. So it's somebody who's actually, I'm tending towards no, because it's a hermit. It's somebody who's stayed in the background, who hasn't come forward for the main game. And they've stayed in the background. That doesn't mean that they haven't stated their opinion when asked, or provided some support for one of the candidates, but they've remained in the background. They haven't stepped up for the presidential role yet. So there you go. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, to move on, of the Lincoln Project, which is this group of Republican strategists who feel that Trump and the Republican Party, and the Republican, I think it's not just Trump, just the Republican Party as it is, they can't remain in power. So they're looking to put their funds and their efforts and their help towards the Democrats or Republicans who they feel, yes, that they can put their backing behind to oust Trump and to oust basically the majority in the Senate, those who need to be ousted. Not every Republican senator is a bad dude and needs to be booted out, but there are enough of them that I think at least a good 5 to 10 of them need to go. At least 5 definitely should go, and another 5 to 10 shaky ground. So I would put Rick Wilson is one of those. I can't remember the names of the others, but they want to bring the Republicans back to their core values. They call it the Lincoln Project. I still think they should go and study Nelson Rockefeller, what he did when he was vice president. He got to the vice president, and I think he was a man ahead of his time for the Republican Party, and a man that the Republican Party would need now. So that's just my personal opinion on what I've seen and read about Nelson Rockefeller. I think a lot of Republicans need to go back and study him, and of course, dang it, the Lincoln Project, of course, yes, Lincoln as well. But I would like to have, I'm going to have a look at will the Lincoln Project, I'm not going to look at how successful they'll be with helping the Democrats and all that. I do think there will be some help with the Democrats and giving them advice on this is what you should be going out and doing. Offering this because this is what has worked for us every time a Republican has won. They have already stated that they're more than happy to do that. But I think their big aim with this is to try and reform or salvage the Republican Party, even if it ends up being called something different. And I want to have a look at how successful they're going to be. Okay? And I'm going to ask two questions. Will their efforts help in getting rid of Trump and those bad Republicans? So I'm going to ask that question first. And the next question I'm going to ask with them is, will they achieve their aim of revitalising and reforming? Reforming, not as in reforming from bad to good, but reforming as in taking the Republican Party back to, it's like the Reformation, back to what it should be, and getting it, it's going to take years, and getting it the respect and reputation that it once had, regaining that. So will they ultimately succeed in their aim of the reformation of, or the renaissance of the Republican Party? Okay, so first I'm going to ask the first question. Will their efforts help in ousting Trump and the Republican nasties, we'll call them? Will the Lincoln Project's efforts help in ousting Trump and the Republican nasties? Wow, 6 of Cups. To an extent, going back to the way things were. That's interesting. That answers more to the second question that I had than the first. So I'm going to just shuffle some more and concentrate. Will the Lincoln Project's efforts help in ousting Trump and the nasty Republicans? Three of Cups, celebration. Yes, they are going to be help in, their influence is going to help with getting rid of Trump and those Republicans who really have not lived up to their oath of office and their promises to the American people. So they are going to be of some assistance in that. So let's have a look. The situation, the King of Wands. The whole thing was formed because of the King of Wands when he's at his worst, which is not the wise leader and the stable and good communicator. Wands are about communication and ideas. The good, stable, wise communicator, that's the King of Wands at his best. King of Wands at his worst is temper tantrums, not listening to anyone, only going with his own ideas and getting nasty when he doesn't get what he wants. So yes, that is at the whole situation. That's it, So that's what they're all about. What's their challenge? Finding new opportunities. They need funding because they are, as they said, basically going to be a super PAC of sorts. So their challenge is finding new sources of funding. So, you know, they're all putting a lot of their own money into it, I think, but they still need more. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge for them. What's at the basis of it? Again, the Emperor. Again, the Emperor not being what he should be. This Emperor has no clothes. He's vain, he's stupid, he doesn't care about others. To him it's all about the heraldry and the luxury that is, and the power that comes with the office. This is his behaviour, Trump's behaviour. At the base of it is him being in that seat of the Emperor and how his behaviour is affecting it. Their past actions, well, they haven't been together very long, but the Four of Cups. They've been against Trump from the start. He was the candidate that was offered to them that they didn't want. So that's the past actions that ended up with them forming. How are they going at present? They're at a bit of a crossroads at present in probably, you know, which direction they should go into. Okay, to get the best result. Should we work towards the election and helping the Democrats and helping Republicans, you know, who do decent Republican candidates, or should we just go towards bringing Trump down at this moment? What's in their immediate future? The King of Cups. A return to stability. No, that's the Knight of Cups, sorry. Yeah, that's the Knight of Cups. An offer. An offer of support. Somebody's going to come in and back them. Somebody big is going to come in with an offer to back them. So I'll ask the question again, will their efforts help in toppling Trump and the bad Republicans? Seven of Cups. Maybe. It's a little bit unclear, but I think that's a maybe nodding towards a yes, because the Republicans are really good at clouding the issue, and these guys have been some of the top Republican strategists for a long time. They're going to, where their help is going to come into is diverting and clouding the issue that Trump brings up to try and divert, and that the other Republicans, the bad Republicans, bring up to try and gaslight America. That's where their efforts are going to help. They're going to help combat the gaslighting that's been going on. Okay, so that's question one with the Lincoln Project. Question two is, I'm going to put these cards back in. Restoration, not Reformation. Restoration, the restoration of the monarchy in England. Reformation and the Renaissance were the same thing, basically. Well, not really. The Renaissance was a burst of new ideas and creativity that happened around the same time as the Reformation. So the Restoration. So they don't want to take things back to the way well, they do in a way, but not with the old-fashioned value, not with the old-fashioned, status quo of inequality between men and women and races and all that. But the old-fashioned core values, the real core values that made Republicans what they were at their best. The restoration. So that's what I'm meaning when I talk about the restoration of the Republican Party. So taking them back to what they were at best and having and reintroducing the ideas of people such as Nelson Rockefeller and reintroducing the core values of people such as Abraham Lincoln. I think they're the two biggest they're the two people they should be looking at. Anyway, so I've only got a few minutes left to get this done. So, will the Lincoln Project be successful in their restoration of the real Republican Party? We'll call it that. The restoration of the real Republican Party. The real Republican Party. Will the Lincoln Project be successful in their ultimate goal of the restoration of the Republican Party? Reintroducing those core values of Lincoln and those wonderful, progressive and clear-eyed ideas and the wonderful clear-eyed ideas and the creativity of Nelson Rockefeller. Yes, a lot of people, Rockefellers were blah, blah, blah. Yes, he was rich, he was powerful, but I watched quite a few programs and he had ideas that, would basically lean towards more Democrats of the day now than they were Republican, or were maybe too scary for the Republicans. But not as left as the Democrats are. So they were good and they were solid ideas. And a lot could be learned from studying him. And of course Lincoln. Okay, so now oh my goodness. Remember last time when I looked at the bottom of the card, now you saw me shuffling. And I said, this card really answers the second question more than the first, and it was the Six of Cups. You saw me shuffling. Six of Cups again. Yes, that's an indication that, they probably will. It might take a while, but it will happen. They'll be able to restore. It might not be called the Republican Party by then, but I don't know. But they're going to be able to restore that party in one form or another to what it should be. Queen of Wands, that's a situation. Wisdom, passion, compassion, maturity, reintroducing a level of maturity and a belief in the protection of others, a protector. And the Queen of Wands is also very much about intuition. Using their intuition more. That's what these guys are all about. What's their challenge? Temperance, finding the right balance between ideas and core values and acceptance of modern situations, and finding the right balance of ideas from leaders of the past. So that's going to be a challenge for them. What's at the basis of it, of course, is the Nine of Wands. They feel embattled. They feel weary. They feel like the Republican Party has taken a battering from within. And this person's posture is about, oh my God, it's like, I fought so hard, but the body blow I've just taken is more than I can stand. And often when people get a body blow like that, it's from betrayal from within their own ranks. And that's how they're feeling. That's why they formed the Lincoln Project. They're feeling weary and embattled and suffering body blows that are so hard to take because it's from within their own ranks of the Republican Party. And yeah, and they feel betrayed by that. Past actions. How does that help bring this? King of Coins. Ugh. Yeah, Trump. Oh no, that's the Knight of Coins, sorry. Mercenary. The Knight of Coins is often seen as a mercenary. So the past actions of those Republicans who are just all about money and power. That's all they care about. That and this, that's the combination that has led to the formation of the Lincoln Project. How are they going at the moment? They're feeling a little bit out in the cold. Not surprisingly, I don't think they're getting a lot of kudos or encouragement or support from a lot of people in office. And of course, a lot of Trump's supporters and all that at the moment. They're feeling a little bit like outsiders. And that's probably going to carry on for a little bit yet. What's in the near future for them? Page of Swords. It can be disappointing news, but it can also be about a messenger of the truth. They're going to start emerging. You know, often this is the spy in the camp card, but I don't feel that's this. This is the messenger of the truth. They're going to start emerging in the near future as people are going to start seeing them as messengers of the truth about what's happened to the Republican Party and what needs to be done. And I think they're going to start getting a following who believe that. Okay, so they're going to start being seen as messengers who are telling the truth. So let's see. Let's have a look at a couple more. The ultimate outcome. Will they succeed? They are going to succeed. That's a yes. But also, the Eight of Wands is about things happening quickly. So I was saying, it's going to take a while. It might happen a bit quicker than people might start listening to them. A bit quicker than they anticipated, and they might succeed with this a bit quicker. But that still doesn't mean like tomorrow or anything. But I think they are going to succeed, and they are going to build up momentum very quickly for what they want to do. The momentum's going to build up very quickly. And the Six of Coins. Money, they are going to start getting money. People are going to start sharing their money. Often this is seen as the laundering card, but I think with regard to the Lincoln Project, it's people are going to start really listening to what they have to say and realise, yes, I want to return to that. So they're going to start sharing their resources with the Lincoln Project. Notice one of the things I said before was one of their challenges in the last reading was funds. That's going to improve. So people are going to start sharing resources with them and relatively quickly. One more, the King of Wands. Okay, now we've got the King of Wands, but I think this is the good King of Wands. Their ultimate goal, they are going to end up having a party back to the maturity of what it should be. The party is itself representing the King of Wands at its best. A protector, a messenger, someone who's passionate about doing the right thing and who can bring stability and wisdom. I think they will ultimately succeed in this restoration of the Republican Party. You always need more than one party. You always need that balance of power to shift from time to time. It's needed for democratic governments to work. And both parties have to be up to the job. And at the moment, the Republican Party isn't. But they're going to ultimately succeed in restoring the Republican Party to what it should be. Okay, that's my reading on the Lincoln Project and the current crop of Democrat nominees. I do have to go. I'm going to try and get this uploaded before I leave, but it might be early tomorrow morning even, or when I get back tomorrow, so I'll see how I go. Anyway, love you all, footprinters, and I will see you at the next reading.